Sustainability Connect on Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug. And I'm your host, Wajira Maganjo. And we are still here at the Kepro Annual Circular Packaging Conference 2024 that is organized by Kepro. We are gathered here with international, local vendors, producers, waste pickers to talk about the various sustainable packaging products and circular economy involved. So we are here joined by a very great gentleman in this particular space. He's going to introduce himself and he's going to tell us what exactly his role is in the aspect of Kepro. So welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Joseph Nyongesa from Institute of Packaging Professionals, Kenya. We are a focal point of building packaging technology, packaging skills, and teaching, training people, industry, society about packaging, and also to make this packaging more circular. But maybe first and foremost, we must understand where we are coming from as far as packaging is concerned. Packaging came into being to deliver a service, that is to contain the product, protect it, and preserve it from the point of where it is produced, whether it is in the factory or whether it is in the farm, up to the point of consumption. So packaging has a very fundamental role. It makes life possible. If we didn't have packaging, for example, how would we get our milk in our houses? It would require that everybody keeps a cow in the city, which is not possible. So packaging has come to fill that gap. And with the time, now there are concerns about after packaging has played a critical role, what happens to it at the end of its life. And that is partly why we are here. So as far as from the Institute perspective and where we sit, we want to make sure that packaging does its bit. It is functional. It carries out its mandate, what it was meant to do. Then after it has done its mandate, it doesn't become a nuisance to the system or the environment. We try to keep it in the system. So in our packaging designs, we are trying to first to use as less material as possible. If a bottle was weighing like 50 grams, we try and make it like 25 grams. So we are using less material. We are reducing, and that's part of what circular economy is all about.
Okay, so what are some of the upcoming regulations and policies that companies in the packaging industry should be aware of?
Of course, some of the critical regulations that are coming up is that we must use recycled material as much as possible. We must almost use it infinitely. What that means is, to make it more dramatic, is to bottle to bottle. If you have used a glass bottle, it's a good example. When you use a glass bottle or that beer bottle, it goes round and comes back. So what the new regulations that are coming up is that any new packaging that you put on the market must be reusable. Or you can almost clean it and use it again. If it is a water bottle or it is a glass bottle, it must be used again and again and again. For plastics, you need to go and crush it and then make again some new bottles out of it. That's the concept of bottle to bottle. So the new regulations will require that we use the materials again and again and again and again. That is what this circularity is partly about. Of course, there will be restrictions from other materials like single-use materials, so that their usage is reduced as much as possible. So those are some of the critical regulations that will be coming around. You need to recycle your material as much as you can. Yeah.
All right. So, looking at the economic viability of this whole transition, how is that going to affect small SMEs and startups?
It's going to be a challenge. I always have some issues because you see the SMEs use like this single-use plastics to start their business. If you are an SME, you want to pack your groundnuts, or you want to pack your honey, or you want to pack your crisps, you get a single-use plastic, then you use it to start your economic journey. But now these rules are becoming very difficult. Sometimes I always feel that these countries are being rushed because the developed countries used these plastics until they reached where they reached. And they are aware of. Now they are telling us not to use these plastics. They come here and they signed the Nairobi Plastic Treaty to minimize the use of plastics. So maybe what we need to do is, from a policy perspective, is to make regulations so that we can coexist with the plastics. Because how will Mama Boga, they get their vegetables, they put them in a polythene bag, a single bag, then they are harassed by regulators, or somebody gets a plastic bag, he puts in some meat, and you have seen all these mamas, they are being harassed, the hawkers, because they are trying to put something in plastic bags. So sometimes I always have a challenge, because how shall we carry our tomatoes, our potatoes, our vegetables? We need some bit of something to carry them in, and the plastic bags were the easy thing. So I always have a struggle with some of these rules and regulations. But this is the world we are living in.
So, what's your call to action? If you're struggling with this and you're the institute of, if you're struggling, imagine us Kenyans. So, what is the way out? How do we get out of this quagmire?
Well, the way out is let's hurry slowly. Yeah, let's not hurry too fast. Let's understand the transition should not be very. You see, like now they say these plastic bags. If you are caught with it, I don't know, you'll be fined 4 million shillings. So I think as much as we want a clean and healthy environment, we can learn how to coexist with these plastics, some of these plastics, until we know how to handle them. Or on the one hand, I think that it is also us consumers, because we are littering things. Sometimes we throw things around carelessly. So we need to educate people to say that these plastics, if we throw them carelessly around, they will become a nuisance. They will affect our ecosystem, our rivers, our animals, and so forth. So it is partly our responsibility. So the regulators should also be lenient with us as they educate the consumers to take these things slowly. Littering, of course, we should try to be careful not to litter things. But so it is a two-way traffic.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it,
Thank
and
you.
we wish you all the best. And thank you for being in this wonderful session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.